It appears that the race to acquire Bitcoin is getting started on a government level, and I'm not talking about El Salvador. Russia, the world's 8th largest economy, will be looking into whether or not to establish a strategic Bitcoin reserve in the country. That's right, two of the most powerful countries in the world are now looking at BTC. In this video, we take a look at the new proposal that the State Duma might have to look into, the odds of its approval, and what it means for Bitcoin. So stay tuned. First things first, we have these videos coming up almost every day, so if you enjoy our content, please consider subscribing with the notification bell so you don't miss out on the next one. Now, according to very recent reports, a Russian lawmaker has proposed the creation of a strategic Bitcoin reserve. This was revealed in a local media called RIA Novosti. Apparently, a deputy from State Duma from the New People Party called Anton Tkachev has sent an appeal to the Russian finance minister Anton Tkachev. Tkachev proposes the creation of a strategic Bitcoin reserve in Russia that is similar to the state reserves the country has in other traditional currencies. The document, as cited in the report, reads, "I ask you to assess the feasibility of creating a strategic reserve in Bitcoin in Russia by analogy with the state reserves in traditional currencies. If this initiative is approved, I ask you to submit it to the government of the Russian Federation for further implementation." In addition, his proposal outlines the challenges of having to rely on traditional currencies that are subjected to sanctions and inflation. Tkachev also explained that these vulnerabilities threaten Russia's financial stability, while outlining the need for innovative financial instruments, including alternative reserve assets, independent of any single nation, and that's Bitcoin. Moreover, the report also emphasized the rising significance of cryptocurrencies in global trade. The official noted that they have become a critical tool for nations facing sanctions and limited access to traditional payment systems, such as Russia. He also highlighted the Central Bank of Russia's ongoing efforts to trial cross-border crypto payments. This particular proposition follows comments by the Russian President Vladimir Putin, who supported Bitcoin during the investment forum in Moscow on December 4th. Back then, he described the cryptocurrencies as an unstoppable technology and endorsed its potential as a global reserve asset. He literally said that nobody can ban Bitcoin. Of course, he didn't miss the chance to bash the US for leveraging the dollar's dominance to enforce political agendas, citing Western sanctions of freezing $300 billion in Russian reserves after the war against Ukraine exploded in 2022. But that's not all. Earlier reports indicated that Russia is planning to launch a cryptocurrency payment trials in response to the above sanctions. Moreover, in July, their parliament passed bills that legalized crypto mining and also created a framework for testing digital tokens in cross-border payments. However, they were under the direct supervision of the central bank. Recall that President Putin signed these bills into law on August 8th. Now, as it appears, the country's central bank will be monitoring this initiative very closely, and it has already selected the national payment card system for the tests because of its existing infrastructure. In other words, Russia is definitely no stranger to crypto, and it hasn't taken the most hostile of approaches. But there's more. Without getting too political here, it's a well-known fact that the US and Russia aren't exactly the best of friends when it comes to the global economic and geopolitical distribution of, well, everything. Now, back before Donald Trump was elected to be the next president of the United States of America, he made a very big promise: to create a strategic Bitcoin reserve for the country. Sounds familiar? But what does this tell us? Well, it tells us that the race to embrace Bitcoin might be on. and that politicians across the world are, at the very least, factoring it as part of the world's economic future. We have yet to see whether Donald Trump will follow up on his promise, but Senator Cynthia Lummis has already submitted a bill saying that its main purpose is to ensure the transparent management of Bitcoin holdings of the federal government, to offset costs utilizing certain resources of the Federal Reserve System, and for other purposes. Now, Senator Lummis has also justified the choice of assets by stating that Bitcoin itself has already demonstrated resilience, widespread adoption, and served as a medium of exchange and a store of value for more than 10 years. Pretty solid. My honest opinion is that some time needs to pass before a country as large and powerful as Russia will move to adopt Bitcoin as part of its strategic asset reserves on par with other currencies. I will definitely be happy to be wrong on this, but I think the chances of this happening without any serious outside catalysts right now are relatively slim. That said, there are some catalysts to consider, with the first one being Donald Trump himself following up on his plans and officially establishing the same strategic reserve in the US. If that happens, and that's a very big if, this would send a message across the entire world. Bitcoin is here to stay, and those who are late to it might stand to lose. Big time. So, regardless of the short-term outcome in Russia, this is a good thing for Bitcoin. It's already on the radar of global lawmakers, legitimizing it as an asset class on its own with no real alternative. And that, my friends, is a wrap of today's video. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you in the next one.